HRN listeners. As we celebrate our 15th year, we are deepening our commitment to giving voice to the next generation of food systems storytellers, and we need your help. Our internship and fellowship programs help activate new possibilities for underrepresented and underestimated young people through experiential journalism, audio engineering, and production training. Through these unique programs, HRN helps food equity stewards build essential workforce readiness skills that expand their potential and foster economic mobility. Please consider supporting these critical programs. And with a minimum donation, you can be entered to win a dinner for two at an amazing restaurant in one of 8 cities and tickets to a concert at a great venue in one of those cities. We have incredible partners across the country who have donated, as they also share our passion for helping to educate the next generation of food systems storytellers. Check out heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. That's heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. And make sure you donate before March 31st. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Heritage Radio Network Farm Report. I'm Lorenzo. This is my lovely co-host,
Heather Hyman.
And today we are going to talk to the CEO and founder of the FruitGuys, Chris Mittelstaedt. The FruitGuys was founded in 1998 and is headquartered in San Francisco, and it offers a healthy solution to the workplace health crisis, apparently. People work long hours, eat junk food, drink Jolt Cola, and Chris and his company have been trying to remedy that and have had some success. Chris has been featured on CNN, on Entrepreneur Magazine, on The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch, and we're really excited to have him here on the Heritage Radio Network because his company is one that HRN can really get behind. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Lorenzo and Heather. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Chris. We're happy to have you here with us this Friday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
So I've been doing a little research on your company, and I'm really impressed by what you guys do, by how you guys give back. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you hatched this idea for this company and how you executed it and put it into motion?
Sure. I would love to be able to say that I had, one moment of a great idea, but our idea kind of came out of a moment of desperation more than anything else. I was in San Francisco and newly married, and I was working at a temporary job at a downtown hotel, running faxes to hotel rooms, and not very happy with my career direction in my life. And my wife and I realized that we were unexpectedly pregnant. And although I can't say I was pregnant, she was pregnant. But I ended up saying, okay, well, I've got to change my life and figure out sort of a direction, and I wanted to do something that had meaning. The .com boom was starting to take off in this is late 97, early 98, and a friend and I said, hey, let's see what we can deliver to offices in San Francisco, and we started talking to people that were working long hours, programming code, and they said, we're sitting around and drinking Jolt Cola and eating chocolate-covered espresso beans, and, this is worse than the freshman 15. We're getting, the first year of work 30 or 40. And we said, well, what if we bring fruit? How does that sound? And it sort of took off from there.
So who were you calling to find out about this? Were you calling, like, the people that run the kitchens or the catering?
Yeah, we actually, we were lucky enough to know people that were working in, in jobs where they had some level of oversight into office services of some sort. So we were talking with, administrators and people that sort of managed, kitchens or the kitchenettes in the office themselves. And we just started chatting with them and got some good feedback and had some introductions. We also did a great deal of cold calling. I had a sales background in my past, so I sort of went door to door in a couple of big buildings downtown, and we must have knocked on about 500 doors over the telephone, and we got a couple of accounts out of that, and they seemed really interested in the idea, and were interested in trying us out.
That's really cool. So were you like a particularly healthy eater? Like, how did you decide that nutrition essentially was a career path that you wanted to go down?
Well, I've always been somebody who's been healthy and interested in health. I've always been very physically active and, played lots of sports and always been interested in keeping myself healthy. So this was right up my alley in terms of thinking about a product that I really could be behind and get people excited about. And to me, the other part that I really loved about the idea of delivering fruit was it's old, but it's new, and a lot of things are so new and unhealthy, but this is actually something that's been around forever and is healthy, but we just need to kind of figure out a way to make new again. So the challenge for us that I got really excited about is that we almost had to kind of rebrand this experience or rethink this experience of fruit in a modern context. And I that actually really jazzes me up, because it's something that's, you just kind of got to reintroduce people to it and get them excited about it.
Definitely. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask, not necessarily how your company works, aside from that, where do you source your fruit from?
Over the years, that's changed. I mean, as we've gotten bigger and been around longer, we've made a lot more relationships with farmers. And one of our goals now, as a almost 12-year-old company, is to work with as many local farmers in the regions that we serve as possible. So a couple of years ago, we decided that we really didn't want to ship fruit long distances around the United States if we could avoid it, just because we didn't believe that was the way to deliver something. We would rather be as local as possible to the area we're delivering in. So we opened up a footprint. Exactly, and we opened a shop then in Philadelphia to kind of serve that East Coast corridor, and then we're also working now in Chicago as well, with the idea that from those hubs we source locally from farmers and then deliver in that region from local farmers. So we do now try to work with local farmers. We have one buyer in our organization that's only committed to working with local farmers. That's her job. She's out there talking with farmers and finding produce, and we're getting it in our boxes and getting it to our customers.
Exactly. So how big is your company? How many employees do you have?
I think we probably have 40 people that are working in the company now across the United States in different offices in total, and we still like to. One of our farmers, this guy Tori Olson, has a great video on our website about sustainability and how to be sustainable you have to be economically sustainable as well. And so we often think about this idea of sustainability in our own businesses, making sure that we're managed in our growth, and we're a family. It's a family-owned business. We own it, and we want to keep it that way as we grow, so we can kind of make good decisions about the directions we're going in. And to do that, we have to think every day about how we're being sustainable in our growth to both meet our goals and to make sure that we're paying people well and they're excited about their jobs, and we kind of keep people happy and employed,
including the farmers as well. I assume you guys pay them, good wages for their fruit, and you're, making sure to support them to the best of your ability each week. Or how is the scheduling work with how often you buy from them?
Oh, we definitely do. I mean, we have long-term relationships with our farmers. We're definitely, we look at, we manage our business off of this sort of concept we call the 5 R's that I developed back in 1999. And so we use this for our vendors, our employees, our client relations, and we ask ourselves these 5 basic questions that, to me, really relate to this question you're asking about sort of sustainability and equitability. So it's, have we been respectful to the person we're dealing with at all times? Have we been realistic with them about what we can or can't do? Have we been responsive to their needs? Did we take personal responsibility for the situation we're working with? And then when we walk away, are we going to be remembered positively? So that really helps us translate the way we work into then our sustainability policy. So we have like a farm stewardship program where we try to do give back programs with our farmers, and our whole goal then is really to think about the relationships we build with people and the goal to make them long term so that they are respectful and we're remembered positively and all those kinds of things.
Well, for good business you need good ethics. So I think that what you just described is probably a big reason why your company has had so much success.
Yeah, we've been very lucky, and I do think that that's kind of a core. It's really a core mission. I mean, all of our mission structure out of that derives kind of from this 5 R's concept, and that what the way we do things has to manifest in the things we do. So we have to make sure that the goals we have, if we have community goals or if we have business goals, whatever they may be, we have to then have that consistent sort of operational way of doing them in an ethical manner. Yes, that is correct.
So I'd like to ask, how exactly does the fruit get to the business, and who packs it? Is it the farmer or is it someone on your staff?
No, we're buying the fruit from the farmer directly. And sometimes off their trucks and off the back of or sometimes in their orchards and things like that. And we bring them back to our facilities, and we're packaging them up and then delivering them to our customers.
Because you then make a mix of a bunch of different fruits. So say you have an orange farmer and a peach farmer, you'll get stuff from them, and then you have like orders specific to companies where they ask for 6 peaches, 12 oranges, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's correct. We have a couple different standard mixes. So, like if you were to go to our website, and we have, if you click the box that said, in this week's mix, you can choose the region you're in, and then when you're in that region, you can choose the different product. And then see the mixes. We actually then break out the picture of the fruit and a little description of each piece of fruit that's going to be in that mix that you've chosen that week. So the idea is we want to give our customers as much information as we can about what the fruit is that's in there, where it's grown, a little history on the fruit, and all that kind of stuff as well.
And do you guys have any standards in terms of always working with does it have to be organic, or do you try and just keep it to the best practices on the farm as possible? Do you have any standards in that respect?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one I get asked often. And when we started the business, we were trying to be 100% organic, and we have along the way companies asked us very legitimately, hey, this is kind of expensive. Can we get something less expensive? And so we do sell both conventional and organic product. And the philosophy there is that we would rather have somebody pick up a banana than a Twinkie, and that's kind of our lowest common denominator, to be honest. Is we start there and say, look, if we can encourage somebody to eat healthy versus eating junk food, that's a great first step.
It's one step closer to the
one step closer to the ultimate. And then what we do in a lot of even our conventional mixes, we'll work with a farmer. For example, we work with this great organic Valencia orange grower in the summertime out here on the West Coast, and what we do is we actually insert all of his organic oranges into even our conventional mixes. So we're trying to support the farms we choose sort of philosophically in our own business to then support are the ones that are going to be the smaller community family farms. A lot of them on the West Coast are going to be organic, and we're trying to really then support those farmers and what they do, even beyond just the organic mixes that we put out to our customers.
And for those of our listeners that aren't on your website to take a look at the fruits and the weekly samplers right now, what is your website?
Oh, so it's FruitGuys.com, just www.fruitguys.com, one word. And if you want to see the mixes we have there, you can actually just click on that big red bar in the front that says, in this week's mix, and it'll show you the different mixes we have by region, and let people know sort of where things are from and what we're delivering. And
then they could set up an account with you, and then do they order by how many employees they have, or just is it a standard how many pounds?
Yeah, our boxes are either 50 or 25 serving boxes, and you can either order it online if you wanted to, or you could actually even call us. I mean, we take customer service very, we think it's very important, and we take it very personally. So we have a number of customer service people on the phone starting West Coast time at 6 a.m. and going till 5 in the evening, and that's 1-877-FRUIT-ME if anybody needs to remember that. So that's what that is.
Well, whenever you're dealing with food, it's always nice to be able to reach someone on the other end, especially when you might not see the person that you're purchasing it from.
Yeah, exactly. And we recognize that we're in a business where it is tangible and it is personal, and we actually want to connect people with the story of the fruit and the grower. We want to educate people about what it is they're eating so that they know and that they're aware, and even to the point of exposing them to things maybe they haven't eaten before, and may have even possibly been afraid to eat before. We're going to do passion fruit coming up in another couple of weeks here, and the best time to eat them was when they're crinkly and ugly looking, and we try to do a good job educating our customers about it's a wonderful piece of fruit, and this is how you eat it, and this is when you want to eat it, and hopefully we accomplish that, and then can get them excited about looking for that fruit in their daily lives.
Definitely.
So if I was the CEO of Coca-Cola and you were pitching me, Chris, on your company, what would you say to me? Impress me with some statistics.
Some statistics. Well, how am I pitching Coca-Cola here? So, in terms of giving them an employee wellness program, we, our whole desire is to come into a company and replace the junk food that's in the office. And we do have to do encourage them to either cut back on their junk food budget and either add
Replace
fruit or replace it outright 100%. There's a lot of statistics. There was a Duke University study that came out a number of years ago that talked about that people that are, and I hate to use this word because I think it has multiple implications, but for lack of a better word, I will use it. But I think the obesity word, sort of in terms of saying that people that fall into a high BMI category and are classified as obese have a much higher rate of absenteeism, and if they are injured, for example, on the job in terms of a workers' comp claim, that their incidence is going to be, many more times, their recovery is going to be many more times longer than somebody who is classified at a normal BMI level. So there's statistics like that we use when we talk to people around why just being healthy and encouraging people to be healthy is important. But I would even say that if you just bring in a box of fruit for 1 week and see how it changes your corporate morale, that for the low cost of having fruit in your office, even if it doesn't impact the health, the morale change in your office is palpable, and it's actually pretty unbelievable. I mean, people get excited. It's the new water cooler of the 21st century, as we talk about, But what they're doing is they're not gossiping about just random stuff. They're saying, hey, what did you eat? What did you try? And they're getting excited about nutrition in a way that we think has a much longer-term impact than has been measured before, and we really think that that's something that's exciting and new about this.
Yeah.
So in one way or another, you're saying that having fruit in the workplace helps companies make more money.
It does. I mean, we do believe that being healthy is both good for the employee and it's ultimately healthy for the company. I mean, if your employees are healthy, then your financials and your company are going to be healthy. I mean, we see it here at the Fruit Guys. I mean, people, when you're healthy, you're coming into work, you're more on your game, you're more energetic, I think, about what's going on. I think when you are feeling unhealthy or when you're cranked up on sugar and feeling like you can't see through the glucose haze of your own eyes because your blood sugar is so high, I mean, those kinds of things do bring your work down. And, as somebody who lives the life of somebody who eats fruit and enjoys healthy food, I really do believe that to my core. So
that's great. I know one of the Fruit Guys' goals is to be a good community partner. What initiatives are you taking to bolster the community values at the core of your business?
We have a couple of ways of looking at this. So we actually look at community partnership in terms of our own supply chain, and we think about the touch points in our supply chain and say, where are the points where we're interacting with people at different handoffs, and what can we do at those handoffs to be better community partners at each point, at each node on that supply chain. So on the farm side, we look at it and say, well, okay, how can we either work with farmers and support them with our business is one, but then also to think about how we can even go beyond that and support them with things that they may need. So we actually have somebody who heads up our farm stewardship program where we're looking for sort of natural ways to help a farmer. So we, recently donated bees, for example, to a farm that was having pollination issues and, wanted to help him so he wasn't trucking bees in from far away and then having to both pay for the service of bringing the bees in and then adding to the carbon footprint with the trucking of the bees in and all this stuff. We actually set up beehives and paid for that and had a bee installation done on his farm. And we're really proud of that one because there's a video on our website. Apparently it's one of the only videos in the world that shows this very peaceful way of actually engaging a queen bee into the hive, and we didn't even realize that we were doing that at the time. Yeah. It's a very cool video on our website. And then we also have done other farm stored programs around bats. So we had a guy who was having, codling moth issues and wanted to deal with moths. And we looked at okay, well, how can we do this naturally? So, let's install bat boxes and encourage the growth of bat families on that farm so that they eat the moths and it reduces his need for even sort of mineral oil sprays, which are a very organic way of dealing with that kind of stuff. So that's on the farm side. On the community side, then, we looked and said, well, when we deliver into a business community, what are some of the things we can do that are give-back programs that support that community, that city and that urban kind of community that we're really delivering into? So we have a program in San Francisco in the Bayview Hunters Point area where we donate fruit to a couple of young women who are entrepreneurs in their own right, and they go around to people in a low-income community and deliver door-to-door fresh fruit for very, very low cost, a couple of dollars for a bag that would normally cost $20 or $30 to people that are homebound or people that are looking for affordable fruit. And that's something that we've sponsored that program. That's called the Something Fresh program. And that's a program that, as we grow, I'm very interested in finding ways to kind of integrate that in broader contexts other than just San Francisco Bay Area. But that's sort of an ongoing process for us. The other thing we do is we do a lot of donations. So we donate on the East Coast, in Chicago, and on the West Coast, all of the fruit that doesn't meet our quality standards in terms of sizing or in terms of the look and feel of the fruit itself. So
Donate
we're
a crate,
donating.
is that?
Sorry, go ahead.
Is that the Donate a Crate program?
No, that's a holiday program we do. That program is where companies can actually, during the holidays when they're closed, or during the year even if they'd like to, they can actually pick a cause and donate their crate to a cause of their choice, and we do that. This other program is more like the stuff that we don't use, and we donate to these then shelters or to groups that then redeploy that fruit to people in need. And we donate, right now it's about over 100,000 pounds a year of fruit to those organizations across the United States in total throughout the United States.
Nice. And I read a little something about planting pear trees. Can you tell me what that project or what that activity entailed?
We're doing we do work with some schools as well, and we have a school program. So one of the things we wanted to do is, again, our idea is we just don't want to sell fruit to people. We actually want to think about how we integrate fruit and health into living. And so we looked at this and said, well, how can we make this program more exciting? And we decided to plant pear trees at pear tree at this one school. And we've done that a couple of times. We also do other programs as well. Again, it's very tailored to what that need is. So if a school says, hey, we really need to do a presentation to the kids where we bring somebody dressed in a banana suit and get them excited about nutrition, we'll do that as well. So there's all sorts of ways we look at kind of engaging people that go beyond just delivering fruit to them, to be honest.
Has that happened with the banana suit?
Oh yeah,
so. I saw it on the website.
Wow, awesome.
Lots of times.
I mean, but also from a business point of view, I mean, being an ethically supportable company also improves your marketability to these places, because you can tell Coca-Cola that by getting behind you, they're getting behind all these other ventures that you're taking on, and they're becoming a more responsible member of the community.
I agree. We like to think so too. And again, I mean that's what we would hope for that as a result. That's not the reason why we do it, but I agreed. I mean, I would hope that people see it that way. I agree.
Right. I mean, it's indicative of a way of thinking.
Right.
It's positive.
Yeah, exactly. And also, too, we're trying to get people, part of this is let's get people aware of even what some of the issues are. I mean, I think part of the issue around the Bayview Hunters Point program or some of the other things is, we do have very real food deserts. I mean, we do have very real areas where getting access to fresh fruits and vegetables that are healthy for people, or motivating people to take a look at it, or even educating people about what it is difficult. And we want to be advocates for trying to get that information out there and make people aware that there are some inequities out there that need to be addressed.
Well, what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced with your company up to this point?
I mean, there's challenges every day, of course, in any business. I mean, one of the hardest ones, being sort of a self-funded family business, is, we went through both at the same time where we were lucky to be in the Bay Area when the dot-com boom was taking off. We were also on the backside of that. There's karma to everything, and we also had to then deal with the dot-com bust, which really almost put us out of business. I mean, I thought I was being very savvy as a business person when I heard through the grapevine that Webvan was, if you remember Webvan, they were that company that was going to deliver groceries to everybody in a truck out of a central location in Oakland, and they had spent tons of money developing the system, and they quietly were selling off their trucks to to try to raise money to stay in business at the end of their lifespan. And we went and we bought 5 trucks. And I thought I was a very savvy business person, and I picked up these trucks for half price, and I was so excited about it. And look what I had done. And literally 2 months later, the bottom fell out of the economy and our business, and I was stuck then with these trucks, and they weren't moving. And it was a great lesson for me about trying to think about how we grow and expand so that we are sustainable and that we are modeling our business in a way that's expandable and contractable so that we can kind of surf the waves that the economy throws at us. And I would have to say that then the changes we have made since that point and that learning that we did back in 2001 and 2, they have served us very well in this current recession as we've been able to, get through this without layoffs and continue to grow our business and think about how we expand the concept of our business and all those kinds of things as well.
So you're saying basically that once you realize that there's a value of getting fruit to consumers, then you find a way to make the profit margins work regardless of the ups and downs of certain situations?
Well, we develop new products. We think about, markets. I mean, we're doing all those kinds of things to think about how we can grow our business. And, so we're constantly changing. I mean, my dad's got a great saying that if you're not growing, you're dying. And he's been in, he's somebody who's been in business and knows about business. And I used to hate that saying because it's very sort of depressing at some level, right? Like you're on the treadmill and you can never get off. But the part that I do take about it that's very positive is you always have to be innovative. And I think that's actually, to me, what the real lesson there is. It's not that you have to grow revenue all the time, but you better be growing your ideas and your thoughts and your opportunities and the way you're thinking about the changing world. And I think that it doesn't just apply to business. It applies to looking at global warming. It applies to looking at everything that we do, and the way it even applies to the way we're looking at healthcare right now. That it's a constantly evolving process that we need to keep thinking and coming up with new ideas, and that part can never stop. You have to keep creating. You have to keep being innovative along those lines, or else you will stagnate and you will not move forward. That is my belief.
No, I definitely like the words you seem to live by. That's really nice.
Is your educational background in business?
It is and it isn't. I mean, I think I learned. My dad was a business professor, and so I think I got my business learning sort of through discussion at the dinner table, almost in a case study way, just like learning about all the horror stories that things that could go wrong. And those are the things I think where I learned my biggest education. I did go to a school in Washington, D.C., American University, where I took business classes and graduated with a business degree. But I would actually say my biggest business degree was I ran a franchise of college pro painters when I was in college, which was a business where I would go sell painting jobs in residential neighborhoods, and then I would organize the painters, and I would train them, and I would manage painting jobs to make money through this summer to fund myself going to school. And that was actually probably the best learning I could have done, because I just you can't get any better learning than when you've spilled oil-based paint in somebody's house and you're dealing with a very angry customer and trying to figure out how you're going to ever make that better and fix the situation.
Was it like you and a group of like your buddies from college, like painting? Like you guys employed yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, except it was College Pro is actually a franchise business out of Canada originally, and they were expanding in the United States, and I was one of their first interior painting managers, and that was a great experience for me because I learned a lot in those 4 years. Believe me, I mean, I don't think I could have jammed as much learning into 10 years of school that I learned just doing that kind of work.
Yeah, work on the job experience. It's always good.
And then I mean, there's other stuff that I think has affected me. I mean, I actually moved out to San Francisco to be a writer. I mean, I didn't want to be in business. I actually tried to get away from being in business, and I think that kind of the artistic pursuits that I bring to the way that I think about business and innovation and is really actually what keeps me excited about being in business and what makes me think that we can positively affect change in the world, because I approach it not from just a bottom line business standpoint, but really from more of kind of a, what's the level of self-actualization for the business here? I mean, what's the meaning that is here? Almost like a writer would look for meaning and say, what's the theme here in this business, in my life, that sort of, connects me to getting up in the morning and being excited about doing my job. And that's the part that actually really drives me, and that's what I get excited about and feel that if I didn't have that, I don't know if I would be, quite honestly, a business person. I don't think I would be. I don't think I could be if I didn't have that meaning portion that goes along with it.
Huh, that's probably why you're so successful, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I also bring some of the skills that you need. Like, I mean, there's kind of that thing about there's the technical knowledge of running a business, and then there's the inspirational knowledge. And I think I do have enough technical knowledge because I did run that college pro painting business where I know what I need to do to run the business. But then you need to also have that inspirational kind of factor involved. And I think both of those things together are important. And I got that from a lot of places. I mean, after college, I traveled around the world for a while, and I think seeing different cultures and the different values people hold in different places was also very informative to me about bringing those things back and embedding them in my business.
Wow. Well, I must say I'm really impressed with the way you describe your goals and your company's mission. And we here at HRN can definitely get behind the Fruit Guys. Again, check out their website, www.fruitguys.com. And check us out on the archives at www.heritageradionetwork.com/archives.
We'd, of course, love to thank our sponsor today, Hearst Ranch.
And our brilliant engineer, Nat Wiener. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
We hope to have you guys on again.
All the best for the Fruit Guys.
All right. Take care.
You as well.